Hello, everybody. Okay, so me and my bro were talking the other day, and he asked me about insecurities. How does he feel more secure of who he is as a person, and kind of separate himself from that pack mentality that we get in high school and university when we identify with the persona of a group? So this is such a powerful question, and it can stem from many different things why we do this. Usually, it comes from a low self worth, like the uncertainty. Is low self worth from the world, not necessarily upbringing. Okay. Um, and the next thing would be spiritually. We haven't grown spiritually to have that certainty, that sureness. So let me explain this a little bit more. When you're in a group setting, some people thrive in environments with lots of people. Great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. If thriving in a group of lots of people, you got to have a skill. You got to have a skill or a finesse, a fakeness, because that's just how it goes around here. So with people, which isn't anyone's fault. I'm not blaming anyone. So and then you have your values. Okay, so like all I can think about is when I was younger, being 13, I had to observe my surroundings and then adopt the values of my surroundings. But I didn't just adopt the values of my surroundings. I I followed my moral compass. So if something that was going on around me didn't quite feel right, I would analyze it, I would take it and say, okay, well, how can I be in alignment with this without going against my soul? Because the way that they're going about it is to my soul feels completely wrong. So I'm not going to do that. What can I give? I know one. Okay. So women, for instance, the lifestyle that I live, it doesn't matter what lifestyle you live. There's shady fucking women out there. Um, I say any woman of authority or that has self-respect is not going to go after your man, let alone flirt with them, knowing this person's in a relationship. Okay. Um, so just because the places that I was in where women may not have been like that doesn't mean that I shifted in what I believed in. And let's say they're super paranoid. Just because they're paranoid doesn't mean I need to adopt that value of paranoia. I know what's going on. I don't need to start making assumptions without having stone cold proof. I'm not going to accuse people of anything because then I'm going to look like an idiot. So that was a really big thing. That's a good example for you. Going in as we shift into adulthood and we're leaving behind the pack mentality of university, high school, whatever else, you meet up with your friends again. Who are you when you meet up with them? That's what I want to know. Who are you when they disagree with you? How does that feel in your soul? What do you stand for? What are your principles? Not your customs, your principles as a human individual. Now, keep in mind, when I was younger, 13, and I was developing all of this based off my surroundings, they shifted quite frequently because as I grew and my environment changed, so did I. Nothing was set in stone. Like there were certain things that would become my principles, but that's because I had to go through it 3 or 4 times, and it was shown to me that this is a universal truth, not something that is changeable in itself. Um, so that's how I built my principles. With my principles growing, the values that I had, I would twist them to my environment because it was my survival. I had to that's what I did to survive. But let's take that out of it for a minute. Think about who you are as an individual. What are your principles? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? Now, as you grow and you see different things and different dynamics that conflict with those principles, you now need to question your principle. Just because it is a principle at one point in your life doesn't mean principles don't change. They don't fully change, they evolve. Principles can evolve, but the basic root of it, whatever feeling that came with that principle, the value, the meaning behind you need to have meaning behind your principles. If your principles mean nothing to you, why the heck do you have them as your principles? That's not living authentically. And you're going to go against them throughout your life. What meaning does it hold? My principles have so much meaning to me. I embody this as a human. Like, they are my embodiment of who I am because they've evolved, they've grown with me. So my insecurities are very minimal. Don't get me wrong, I'm not 100%. Like, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everyone has insecurities. But I can process my insecurities, being like, okay, why am I actually feeling this? Where is this coming from? And you work through the steps. And a lot of the times, us not being able to grow up with the example of what we don't want to be, yet we are always given an example of what we want to be, what we're aiming for, stops us from our principles evolving with us. If I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't have it any other way. For the simple fact of I always had an example of what I didn't want to be, which left me with the freedom and the creativity to become whatever I wanted to be without a cap, without a limit. And I would say having an example of what you don't want is far more authentic to grow in than having an example of what you do want. Duality is great. You need both. You need to see both. But when what you do want is forced upon you, you lose touch of what you don't get to evolve into what you really want. Because you have this image of what you want, and that's where you stop. That's where it sits. So once you reach that, once you obtain that, then what? Okay, so you got this, whatever, like, where's your meaning? Where's that spark? Where's that fire? Where's you? Where are you? I can promise you, you're not there. The only thing that was there was what you should be. It's not you. So how do we're here now, and we want to find out who we are, or we want to feel that certainty within ourselves, that certainty from growing spiritually. So when people say they want to grow spiritually, to me, my question to them is like, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Like, are you looking to have more wholeness in your life? Like, everyone has their own ammo. Like, maybe spiritually means they want to feel more free. They want to have that adventure back in their life. I'm telling you right now, when you grow spiritually, the adventure is always there. Okay, there's never a dull moment. But what I take from that is people who are seeking to grow spiritually are seeking to further their relationship with God, because that's what gives you the certainty. You know who you are because you got to evolve it with God. And then as you continue to go through life, once you grow that way spiritually, who's going to stand in your way? What's going to trigger you? You're not going to be triggered. Why? Because you got God on your side. Those emotional things don't affect you the same way anymore because you went through it, you experienced it, you learned from it, you pull the wisdom out of it, and now you have the shield where you're like, oh, that's cute. Like it's not, and you have compassion, you have kindness towards people who haven't been there yet. And then instead of you enabling the separation, you're able to enable the unity and the the sharing of knowledge. Like that's something that we've lost as a human race, is the sharing of wisdom, because we've detached from ourselves so much. So everyone wants the certainty. They think they're going to find it in the material things. They think they're going to find their happiness. You know, I'll be happy once I get this house, this car, this, once I get married, once I have children. Like we're all playing the same song and dance. And then what? Or did you do what you wanted to do in life? At however old you are, do you even know what you want to do? Do you even know what you want to be? Do you even know what it is to just sit alone, silently, in a room full of people and just be? No insecurity, without a phone to look at, without a distraction. Someone's making a weird noise over there. I don't know. Okay. You know, the only real certainty lies within you. So when you go within you and you detach from what everyone else wants you to be, what should be, what could be, what was supposed to be, where you should be, could be, whatever, coulda, woulda, shoulda. And you just look at yourself for where you are and hold the space for yourself so that you can remove that judgment without criticizing. And allow yourself to see yourself from the perspective of who you don't want to be from your past. You don't always have to become who you don't want to be. If you can raise your awareness, observe other people and how other people interact with that person, and ask yourself, and then ask yourself, do I want to be treated the way this person's being treated? And then go a little bit deeper. Are those people treating him that way because they're scared of him or because they respect him? And some people want to say, without a sense of fear, there's no sense of respect. Get the fuck out of here. If people respect you authentically, the only thing they fear is disrespecting you. They don't need to be scared of you to have respect. So that's my opinion on that. Anyway, have any questions? Make sure you comment down below. Peace and love. Good night.